Have you ever been playing Left 4 Dead and come across a place that may seem a little strange or mysterious? Well, in today's video, I have 5 places that could be described as just that. If we hit 1,000 likes on today's video, I'm going to be posting some goofy bunny pictures on my community tab, so make sure you're subscribed and you'll see them on your home feed right as I post them. Thank you guys so much. There's been a lot of hate recently, so if you could spread some love, I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for your time and for clicking on this video. It's been a long time since I've made this series, but let's just jump straight into the video. Now for the first map on today's video, I'm bringing you to the 3rd chapter on the No Mercy campaign, and it's actually this sewer area. Now when you first arrive here, you walk through those doors, you come over here, you open up this grate, and you can hop down. When I was a kid, for a very long time, I didn't know that there was actually a second room over here where you could come and open this up, so if you didn't know that, the more you know. Now for the sake of today's video, it doesn't really matter which one you hop down. I'm just gonna choose to hop down this one, but there's always been something a bit eerie about these sewers. When you hop down here, the music stops. It sort of becomes foggy. Nothing really plays. And as you explore the area, you come across these tunnels, which these tunnels are barely lit. There's a lot of dead ends that are used for more like verses, but in my mind, it's sort of creepy, right? I mean, you come down here, there's trash everywhere. You don't really know what's lurking around. There could be an infected around any corner. And as a kid, this is the stuff that really scared me to my core. Because I mean, when you're young, you're in your youth, you don't really understand a lot of things, especially about video games. And over here, there seems to be a survivor with an ammo pile and a sniper rifle, which seems that it could be random. But we all know Valve has super good environmental storytelling, so you can make up whatever you want about this situation. There's a lot of dark rooms. There's pipes with some smoke coming out. Either some smoke or some steam, whatever that is. If you come down here into the water, you can see that there's actually a bunch of trash that's movable. You can move it around, you can kind of mess with it. And everybody has come through this place, right? But that's not the point. Do you actually take your time? Do you slow down? Do you ask, what is actually going on in here? Look, there's milk cartons. There's more milk cartons, either milk cartons or something else, but some type of carton. There's cleaner, so there's some spray bottles here. Alongside the dead guy here, you could kind of infer without actually seeing a body that people must be living down here. Exploring a little further, you could see that there's some bleach, chlorine. Oh, it's supposed to be chlorine, maybe? If you look down here at the very low points of the sewers, you in fact have sewage, right? Who would have guessed? And just imagine the smell in here. It must be so nasty. I want you to imagine for a second, coming down here as a survivor. You don't really know what's down here, but around every corner could be something watching you. Something waiting for you to mess up. That's what makes this place so strange to me. Coming into this room, you can see that there's a light source here which provides the survivors with good visibility. There's an ammo pile here as well as some grenades that you could find. Some of this loot is RNG. You get some weapons here. There's some pills here. If you look in this corner, along with some more loot, you notice these dead cops. Now these dead cops, I believe, weren't in the original game. They were actually added in the second version to add a bit more atmosphere. What does this mean for cops to be down here? Like, let's put on our analyzation glasses. Well, for the cops to be down here, that has to mean a few things. First, either the cops came down here to protect people or they came down here to ran. Who really knows, right? But that's it for this place. Let's move on to the next place. Now, for the second place in today's video, I'm bringing you to the 4th map on the Death Toll campaign, and it's actually this main street. Now, everyone's been here. You have to get through this area to finish the map, but if you come over here to your left, you walk down this little ramp. If you come to these fences, you can actually look outside and see some of the town area. Now, they put some effort in kind of decorating this area, making it look at a first glance usable or at least real, but as you'll find out, you can't actually get into this area. I mean, you could try to fit through here, but you're gonna be too fat. There's some fences here that are piled up. You think you could climb on them, but you can't really. This is considered an out of bounds area, so we're gonna come back to that. But I want to take a look at these shops. kind of analyze this area. For starters, there's a dead woman here, which, I mean, she's been killed and dragged a little bit, which is not nice. And there's some trees in the area, which they went through the effort of actually putting this grate down here where the soil or dirt would be. And there's an actual theater here. Let's see what's playing. Well, Broken Heart PG-13, Stall Ion R, Terror R. I mean, just some placeholders. That's kind of cool because they went through the effort of modeling this kind of booth for this area. It must have taken a lot of time. If you come over here by this forklift, you'll see that there are a bunch more dead bodies. This one seems to be dragged out from underneath this. Maybe someone got trapped in there. Maybe someone got killed. Like, it's just a normal street, right? But like, how did all this rubble pile up? My best guess is it's from this low area over here. If you get close to the ground, you can see that this is a lot lower than the street. Maybe this ground was kind of raised and then pushed using some of these vehicles to act as a wall against the horde. It seems like the survivors tried to make some sort of barricade here. The zombies appear to be coming towards this wall from this direction. And the obvious part is that there's definitely barbed wire. I mean, there's a car in here. There's some more pieces of barbed wire over here. Now, to double back and go to the previous area, let's check out this out of bounds area. Out of bounds areas in these maps always give me this weird vibe. Like, you weren't intended to see it, but Valve lets you come out here if you want to use console commands. There's a light post out here. There's a lamp out here. That's interesting. And this lamp actually provides light on the surrounding ground, which for better or for worse is kind of interesting. If you walk through this area, there's a bunch of walls and fences and pillars that they just placed, but you can't really see. A bunch of these assets are sort of just here. There's weird mismatches in the ground over here. They place trees out here. There's tree cards, but it's just the ability to come out here is just so interesting to me. You can actually walk around, you can jump, you're not forced to like stay in one position. But let's move to the next place. Now for this next part, I bring you to the fourth map on Hard Rain. It's when you're coming back from the sugar mill and everything's flooded. If you open up this door and you head out here, it's very evident that the environment is kind of pushing back against you. And if you follow this area, you will go up this ladder and kind of make your way on top of the rooftops. But if you backtrack the way you came, if you come into these houses, it's a completely different vibe than when you showed up. It's strange and yet it's cozy. You hear the rain on the rooftops. And as you explore, everything is flooded. You can find some items back here. There's pipe bombs, pills, pistols. Peering out this window and just watching the rain fall is such a vibe. Like I said earlier, it really comes down to you stopping, taking it slow, and just exploring these maps. Because everyone's always rushing through these maps trying to get to the next safe room. And if you actually enjoy the environment for what it is, you can get something new. Now, there's a lot of houses in this area. This isn't the only one. As you come across here, you come across this beige/yellow house. You can find a woman slumped over next to a few weapon spawns. It looks like there's a sink. Maybe some coffee. There's a fridge here, but hey, I mean, what are you gonna do, right? Also, this house has a giant hole in the roof, so I don't know if you would want to come in here. There's an alarm clock with some beds. They actually went through the effort of putting like vases and pictures in here. And as you explore this area, storms come. Like, just imagine the wind blowing on your back, the lightning striking. And as you seek shelter, it all sort of stops, and you can look outside and you can kind of just enjoy the view. And it just doesn't have the vibe when you first come through this area when it isn't raining. You can get on top of the roofs here, you kind of explore the nearby areas. There seems to be either a shed. This is not a doghouse. And if you come over here, the survivors actually talk about this porch light, which is interesting. This house is boarded up and you can't enter it, but by using the powers of no clip, by going in here, you can see that there's nothing really in here. There's this huge kind of open area that you have access to. There's a car behind some branches, some trees. There's a bigger open area back here that's flooded a lot. You can see a bunch of the trees. The water just kind of ends. To me, the biggest reason why this place is mysterious has to do with the fact that it's one of the hardest maps in my opinion, but as a commenter said on one of my old videos, this map, the vibe is actually happy. A lot of people came together and worked together at the gas station to share the gas. But I've rambled enough about this area. Let's move on to the next one. For the next place in today's video, I want to bring you to the motel on the first map of Dark Carnival. Now, everybody has come across this place. This place to me is a bit more strange. It is a little bit mysterious, but I want to focus on a few things. The first thing I want to draw your attention to is this gas station area, or like this main lobby sort of area. If you come in here, there are a bunch of bodies piled up. There's blood splattered all on the walls. There's even bodies over here behind the table. There's a chainsaw here, and someone was ripped in half and then dragged out here. There's some seats, there's some trash on the floor, there's a register, there's some files. There's a lot of items that can spawn in this area. Keep this in mind, just how populated this one room is. If you go to this room, you can see that there's a weird texture there. Like, I don't really see that texture anywhere else. There's ammo pile on the table, and if you come into this room, there's not really that much else. It's sort of just like a supply area. There's an old style computer. Now, a bunch of these rooms are the same, so I'm going to kind of speed through it, but there's 2 beds here with a shot here. There's a TV here, and again, the loot is RNG. There's a bathtub, obviously, with a sink and a toilet. If you come over here, there's ice, there's cold drinks, there's a vending machine that seems to be empty, and there's even a little flamenco guy that you can punch. If you come upstairs, if you look into all these rooms, again, keep your eye on just how empty it is. There's a bed here, there's some pills, bathroom, don't really see anybody. If we come out of this room, this one's boarded up. This one is pretty much the same thing. Same thing here, same thing here, same thing here, same thing here. Same thing all across all these rooms, right? You're gonna have to jump through here, go through this wall, and you do see one dead person. There is one dead guy there. But you can come through this. That room's closed up. That is closed. But I want you to keep in mind just how little bodies there are. I think there's just that one girl up there. And if you come over here to this little like secret room, there's a bunch of bodies here. There's camping supplies along with a bunch of bodies. Now, what do I think happened? I think this lady was probably camping out in this room where these already infected individuals bursted through her wall, and she had to end up defending herself. But either she killed all of them and then she died, or, you know, she died and then somebody else shot these people. But whatever the case, it looks like she crawled away, but she didn't end up making it. This is one of the ladies I think you can find on No Mercy too. Now, if you're a keen-eyed viewer, or you've played this map before, you might have noticed this area. Now, there's a few strange things about this area, right? First of all, there are a bunch of dead people with tarps over them. Maybe early on in the infection, people thought, hey, maybe they're savable, so they just put tarps over them or something. Or maybe just out of respect. But the reason why I think people held out in this motel area for a long time is because of these dead bodies. This is the 3rd place that has a bunch of bodies. Now, the strange thing about this is that they're all burned. And you can actually find a gas can hidden amongst the bodies that you can pick up and throw. In the area, you can see that there are a bunch of other gas cans. There are more piles of bodies here. You can even see that there's smoke, right? So these bodies were actually burned really recently. We all know Left 4 Dead and the events that take place happen very quickly to when you play through it. But I think the survivors either just rounded up their dead and burned them, or maybe they just let a bunch of infected down here that were alive and then burned them. But I don't really have an explanation for this. But this is by far the strangest thing in this motel area. But let me know what you guys think happened here. Let's move on to the next place. For the last part of today's video, I want to take you to the 3rd map on the Blood Harvest campaign, and it's after you crash this bridge. Don't worry, it's not broken because I actually came up here with no clip. When you come up here, it's going to be broken. You're going to see this safe room, you're going to pass by some of these poles, some trees. You're going to come up to this cow, and I've actually talked a lot about these cows in the past. They have a lot to do with the lore of Left 4 Dead, but you usually come into the safe room, close this door, and you go out this area. Now, this area over here is a lot different than what we see now. When you teleport to the next map, of course it's more detailed, it has more trees, more rocks, everything, right? But if we go into no clip and I come out here, there's some weird stuff going on. So although there's a door there, they didn't necessarily get the terrain right. You're not really gonna pick apart it in a game, but like me, who definitely overanalyzes everything, will notice something like this. And something I thought interesting too, before we get over there to the main attraction, are these electrical wires, these poles, right? So if we go to the beginning of these poles, you can see that, well, this isn't the beginning, but it actually does serve electricity. So for what it's worth, there's definitely power in this area. It connects up here to whatever this is. Looks like a refueling station maybe. You can clearly see that the poles kind of just go off the map. They sort of just disappear. They don't really connect to anything. But if we follow it back, you can see that these connect across the whole map, and it's really cool that they sort of added this feature. It adds some of that continuity, like consistency sort of thing. And as we explore more, if I drop back down, you can see that they went through the effort of placing rocks and everything, which I gotta compare this to the next map. I don't know if this is 100% accurate. I know the terrain is a lot different, but here is the barn. Now, this barn is a lot different from the barn you come across. For starters, it has no back face, which is interesting, and it serves only as a little tiny set piece that you can view through the safe room door, which is why you can only see this part. And if you come back here, you can barely see it. The fog obscures it just enough not to be too important, but to like kind of say, hey, there's a barn up ahead. If we walk over here where the survivors would come to continue, you can see that there looks like there's like this black void. I don't know what this is, but it's like it looks like some darkness like coming onto the map. I don't know, so I know it's probably nothing. It might just be with the light source, but it does just feel strange, right? Like it feels out of place. Over here, there's some cliffs, and it's so barren. I know they don't expect you to come out here, but being able to explore it, it just feels wrong. Over here, you can see some more tree cards, and if I enter no clip, there is more terrain back here with a bunch of grass. I'm guessing that the grass placement is tied to the terrain. Either that or they placed it manually, because there would be grass over here if it was tied to the terrain. I'm guessing they manually placed grass back here, which is interesting. And looking at the sky, Blood Harvest has this very weird pinkish orangish kind of skybox. But I mean, you could come here and analyze this for hours. I mean, Lord knows I have, but like, you know, being able to see stuff you're not supposed to see. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please make sure to leave a like on today's video. It goes a long way. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like on today's video. If we hit 1,000, I'll post those 2 bunny pictures. Leave a comment. What places would you like me to check out? Did I get anything wrong? Please let me know. I love responding to you guys. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. I really appreciate it. Have a nice rest of your day. Peace out.